We are back once again, part 2 of a list that I am very, very excited for. This is part 2 of the best women's WrestleMania matches since WrestleMania 30. We've had the good, we've had the bad. Part 1 was fun, part 2 is even better. So let's dive into it. Number 10, WrestleMania 33. Bayley versus Charlotte Flair versus Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax in a fatal 4-way elimination match for the Raw Women's Championship. Now this right here, we were in peak hugger form for Bayley. She obviously didn't reach the heights that she did in NXT, but she was popular enough to not only go into WrestleMania as the champion, but leave WrestleMania as the champion. We pretty much knew how this match was going to go. For the most part, we knew Nia Jax was going to be a big part of it, that she was going to be the first to be eliminated, because you always have to get rid of, well, the biggest competitor first. And this was a solid affair. We were still getting our groove going into the quote-unquote women's revolution, but every single woman played their part well enough. And if this match was done again today, I think it would be much, much better now, because all the women here have grown into much better competitors, especially Nia Jax. This was a fun and fair, and it was one of the better matches on the card. But Bayley coming out the winner, that was the biggest shocker. Number 9, WrestleMania 37, Rhea Ripley versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. This match, the story of it all felt off. Asuka was going into WrestleMania as champion, and we were on that road to start elevating Rhea Ripley. And Rhea Ripley walked into this match as the competitor, as the underdog. She was going up against Asuka, and Rhea Ripley walked out the winner. You all know me, Asuka not having any wins at WrestleMania. You're going to see a lot of that on this part of the list. This was good. Rhea was still really finding her footing on the main roster, because don't forget, at one point she was in a tag team match for the tag team titles at WrestleMania, but she walked in, went against the Empress of Tomorrow, who, come on, is really pretty much incapable of having a bad match, and Rhea Ripley walked out the winner. Number 8, WrestleMania 35, Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown and Raw Women's Championships. We know the story. We know what this is all about. This was the first time the women have ever main evented WrestleMania, and this was a one-night affair. WrestleMania wasn't 2 nights at that point, and we know the ins and outs of this match. We know it was a little rushed, but the history of it all, the grandeur of it all, was nothing short of spectacular. And we all know, honestly and truly, that Charlotte Flair should not have been in this match. The story was always Ronda and Becky and Ronda. And I think if it was just them two, this match would have been so much better. But Vince is going to Vince, so he shoved Charlotte into this match, but it was still a good affair. It was clearly rushed. So if this match had got just a little bit more time to breathe, even with Charlotte Flair in this match, it would probably be much higher on this list. Number 7, WrestleMania 39, Bianca Belair versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. You know the story. You know how it goes. We were really in peak, sorry to say it, LOL Bianca wins. She was becoming undefeatable, and she went in as the champion going up against Asuka, and she left as the champion. The story never felt right. I don't even remember why Bianca challenged Asuka. I don't remember how Asuka got the championship match, but it was a good enough match. It was very, very solid. Bianca and Asuka put on a really, really solid show last year, but they were really ultimately overshadowed by another women's match on the show. But Bianca and Asuka, again, were great sparring partners. I think if this match happened again, it'd be much better as well. Number 6, WrestleMania 36, Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley for the NXT Women's Championship. We know how this one goes. We were in peak LOL. Charlotte wins. Charlotte had won the Royal Rumble because it was a matter of not if, but when she would win the Royal Rumble. And she decided to challenge Rhea Ripley for the NXT Women's Championship. Rhea had previously defeated Shayna Baszler for the championship, and Rhea was, again, still finding her footing. It didn't help that this was also during the pandemic, but this was, in my opinion, the best match on the card for that night. This was on the second night of WrestleMania. Charlotte and Rhea were the opening match, and they put on a really, really solid affair. I hated Charlotte winning. I hate Charlotte winning in general, but Charlotte winning ultimately did not prove beneficial for the NXT roster and locker room. But looking back at the match, it was quite good. Number 5, WrestleMania 34, Charlotte Flair versus Asuka for the SmackDown Women's Championship. You know how this story goes. And once again, LOL, Charlotte wins. Asuka in this match was the first ever Women's Royal Rumble winner. Not only was she the Royal Rumble winner, she had her undefeated streak still going. And we all walked in to WrestleMania that night for the first time in a long time thinking Charlotte's not winning. And of course, Charlotte won the damn match. The worst part, they had Asuka shake Charlotte's hand. Wasn't good. No Espino. But for the match itself, absolutely stellar. Charlotte and Asuka have really good chemistry, and we went over this one of the previous shows. Charlotte's up, I think, 4 or 5 wins on Asuka, but they fought each other a good number of times. This was a really, really good match, because even though we get tired of Charlotte Flair, she knows how to show up for the big match. It's just that the wrong person won here. Number 4, WrestleMania 38, Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship. We were in peak form, giving the push to Bianca Belair. She had won the Royal Rumble, and Becky was on the heel version of the man gimmick. She wasn't the man this time. She was big time Becky. She was going to do whatever it took to win the championship, to retain the championship, and Bianca was just a force unto herself. No one could stop her. We know what happened the previous year at SummerSlam, and it was all about getting that revenge, and get the revenge that Bianca Belair did. This was a really, really good match, and we continued the story at SummerSlam later that year. But Bianca and Becky were just good together. The right person won, and the story told, the in-ring story that was told, very, 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 very good. Number 3, WrestleMania 32, Charlotte Flair versus Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch for the WWE Women's Championship. This was the culmination of the Women's Revolution. 3 of the 4 horsewomen were fighting for the new WWE Women's Championship. Lita, the legend, was there to announce that the Divas Championship was done, and we were bringing back the Women's Championship. Charlotte Flair actually walked into WrestleMania as the Divas Champion. This is what the match was supposed to be for, but Charlotte and Sasha and Becky do what the 4 horsewomen do. This was so good, and at times you think Becky Lynch would be overshadowed in this match, but she wasn't. Every single person put in the work. It was absolutely phenomenal, and we finally got to see that when you care about women's wrestling, when you treat them as equals, you can get something great, and greatness is what we got on that night. At number 2, WrestleMania 39, Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. This match should probably be number one. Charlotte was the champion. Rhea won the Royal Rumble, and they were close to main eventing. They probably should have main evented the show, but Usos, Stone Cold, it happens. But Rhea and Charlotte absolutely tore the house down. If you look at both nights of WrestleMania 39, you're not going to find a better match. Rhea and Charlotte, like I said, have chemistry together, and this made up for that NXT Women's Championship match, because this time the right person won. And not only did the right person win, it started the meteoric rise of Rhea Ripley. It was something about these two coming together, the fear that Rhea may lose and Charlotte was going to defeat another Royal Rumble winner. It just wasn't happening this time. It's not a matter of if, but when these two women face each other again. At number one, WrestleMania 37, Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Like I said previously, Rhea and Charlotte should probably be number one, but this match is number one because of the significance of it. Two black women main eventing WrestleMania. Yes, the story leading up to the match was a little boring. It was the can they coexist storyline. We've seen that done time and again, but we knew once we get to the match, we were in for something special, because we know who Sasha Banks is. We know what she's capable of. She is one of the 4 horsewomen. She's one of the best on the planet. And this was really Bianca's time to step up. This was Bianca's time to show that she belongs. And Sasha being the boss, being this perfect heel and this perfect foil for Bianca was perfect in a sense. These two women had the lights on them that shone, that shined the brightest, and they stole the show. It was well worth it. The match itself was absolutely fantastic, using Sasha's technical and submission ability and her speed to go against Bianca's strength and power. Was just a really good clash of styles. It was beautiful. The aftermath, beautiful. The story down the line, not so much. But these two women showed that they belong, and they rightfully earned that spot at number one. But that's the list. Let me know what you guys think. Should somebody be higher? Should a match be lower? But I'll tell you one thing. Becky, Bianca, Charlotte, Sasha, we know they're always going to be at the top. Come back. Howard's Wrestling Podcast, every single Saturday. I'm Jeremy Pierce. Peace.